Happy to
All
join
right.
you as well.
So now that everybody can hear me, I am going to get started. My name, if you're on the computer, I just turned on my microphone, so you should be able to hear me. Although I can't see what you can see, so I'm not sure if you can see my face or I hope so. So we have some students here on campus. We have some students joining us online. It looks like we have a total of 6 students here. We have 9 new students starting in the hybrid program this spring, so most of you have been able to attend this evening, so that's great. I'm really excited to welcome all of you to the program. I'm going to be talking to the people on campus. I'm going to be talking to the people online. The online students, if you have any questions throughout our presentation, log them into the chat. In a couple of minutes, our graduate assistant, Michael, is going to be joining me, and he's going to be monitoring the chat for me. And then he'll address any questions you might have to me if he's unable to provide you with an answer. To begin, I want to introduce myself. Can everybody see the PowerPoint presentation online? I hope so. My name is Nicole Blair. I'm the manager of the MBA program. I realized I did not update my title here. I was assistant director last year, so it looks like I need to update that for next year. So I'm the manager of our hybrid MBA program and the online MBA program. So any questions you have about the program, I'm your go-to person. I advise all of our students in the program. Once you're accepted and you're registered for the classes, everything goes through me. And then I'll do your graduation clearance and help you with graduation. So I do everything from beginning to end. So if you have any questions, I'm your main point of contact. I will direct you to other people throughout campus if you have questions about billing, financial aid, library resources, extra academic support. So I don't do all of that. I don't think I can handle all that, but I will direct you. You can always start with me. Also here this evening is Eileen. She's monitoring the door for any stragglers that can't find us. Eileen is our assistant, and she probably helped many of you through the admissions process. And if I'm not available, you go to Eileen. Many times if you call in, she'll answer the phone and direct you to me. So I'll make sure those people that are here on campus, I'll make sure you have an introduction and you know who she is. I want to go around the room and introduce all of you to each other. You'll be in class with each other. I think it's important for you to get to know each other. I completed my MBA degree at LaSalle University. I graduated in 2011. Prior to joining LaSalle's MBA program, I had no business background. I have a communications degree from Temple University, and I knew I wanted to go back to school, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it was my dad. I always tell people, my dad told me that an MBA degree will help you no matter what you do. And so I got an MBA degree, and that's what I tell all of the students that I work with today. It doesn't matter where you are or what you do, an MBA degree will be helpful. So we have a very diverse population, and that's something that was my favorite part of the program, the diversity in the students, in the classroom, the different backgrounds that you come from, the different career paths that you've chosen. It really adds to your learning experience in a way that I couldn't have imagined before I was a student in the program. So not only do you have the opportunity to learn from your professors, you get to learn from each other. So Eileen and Michael just walked in. I'm going to introduce both of you. Eileen is probably somebody you've worked with, and I think you've all met her when you walked in. And then Michael is our graduate assistant, and I'm going to pull you up here because I want you to monitor our chat feature throughout the presentation. So those of you that are online, Michael is going to be monitoring the chat feature, and I'm going to pull it up. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, let us know. Just keep it down low because we don't want to block the presentation. Okay. So we're going to start on campus. We're going to start with all of you, and I want you to tell me your name, where you're from. I imagine most of you are pretty close because you're here. And what your background is professionally, what you do for a living, what your educational background is, where you went to school, something interesting about yourself, and what do you hope to gain from the MBA degree? All right. Would you like to start, Brant?
Sure. I'm Brant Waples. My background professionally is I'm in human resource management. My current title is I'm a HRS and compensation specialist specifically. I went to undergrad in Susquehanna University. It's a very small college in the middle of nowhere. It's out near actually Bloomsburg, so it's further out in the sticks.
Okay.
Aside from that, what I wanted to gain from this program is obviously I did want to get my master's, but I wanted to get more of a grasp on just basic business and how to pretty much help management wise. And I know we had human resource management, but I also wanted an overall perspective on both the HR side as well as the
You came to the right place. And I also understand your supervisor, your manager knows our dean.
Oh, that's my coworker.
Your
actually.
coworker. Okay. Yeah. So she came to me today and said, "I know somebody that knows one of your new students." Well, that's great. Yeah. Very cool. All right.
My name is Daniel Killian. I'm a registered nurse actually from University of Pennsylvania Health System. Been a nurse for about 8 years. I graduated with my nursing degree from LaSalle in 2012. And I'm looking at the MBA just to broaden horizons, learn some about business and finance, and kind of look toward new career paths and maybe even healthcare leadership and things. So
Perfect.
looking to see what there is to gain.
We're offering our very first healthcare management class this spring semester. Hopefully it's a hit and we offer it again because it sounds like it would be the perfect class for you.
Thank you.
Very good. Mike.
So I'm Mike Cook. Originally I'm from Levittown, which is maybe 40 minutes from here, and then I moved to Doylestown last year. I work for a German company called Harald Hoffler. We manufacture pharmaceutical packaging and film equipment. So I did my undergrad at Penn State Abington, studied healthcare finance, and I'm hoping that this MBA kind of escalates me to higher level management.
Great. Very good. All right. Madeline, do you want to go next? All right. I'm not sure, Madeline, if you don't have access to a microphone, can you just let us know in the chat? Catherine, do you want to go next?
Sure. All right. My name's Catherine Finley. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. I went to Temple University for undergrad. I studied secondary education, social studies, and history. So no business whatsoever. But I got an internship at SAP, which I'm doing right now in the customer first office, and getting the MBA just to get a better understanding, some business acumen, broaden my scope a little bit. Yeah, just see what transferable skills I can bring between education and business.
That sounds great. Thanks, Catherine. All right. Who else do I have online? Madeline, can you hear us now? I don't want to skip anybody. I see a few phone numbers there. Who's there? Okay. Madeline, if you want to just enter a brief introduction into the chat, I can read it out loud to everybody. Somebody there? Okay, I'm going to move on. But if you want to add your introduction into the chat, we'll read it so everybody hears about you. Okay. All right, these are our program learning goals. I'm not going to read them in a lot of detail to all of you. You can read the screen in front of you. But essentially, we want graduates of our program to have the ability to think strategically when they graduate from the program. We want them to have leadership skills. We want them to not only have those skills, but to be leaders in the world today. I'm going to mute everybody. Mute all. I think Rails logs and you have to admit them. So we want graduates of our MBA program to not only have leadership skills, but to be leaders in the business world today. You get business related oral and written communication skills in probably every single one of our classes. Anything from presenting to writing papers, doing projects, discussions in classroom. You'll have all of those communication skills when you graduate. We want our students to graduate from the program with the ability to take all the information in the business environment and make effective decisions. And then finally, we want our students to have the ability, whether you're in finance on a day-to-day basis or not, but to have the ability to read a financial statement, to participate in meetings in the workplace that revolve around finance, and to know what all the finance people are talking about. So for me, I was never specifically in that role, but I have the ability to participate and communicate about those things after doing my MBA degree. So those are our program learning goals. We have those goals for all of the MBA classes in our program. Academic expectations Citations are never a fun thing to talk about, but we always have to mention it. You are required to have a GPA of a 3.0 in order to be eligible for graduation in the program. Very rarely do we have a problem with a student that falls below that. If you fall below 3.0 at any time throughout your time in the program, you will be placed on academic probation. And then once you raise your GPA above that 3.0, the probation will be removed. But you're unable to graduate if you're below that 3.0 level. We'll provide our students 7 years to complete all degree requirements. But I don't want to scare anybody. It does not take 7 years. So on average, it takes about 2 to 2.5 years to complete all degree requirements. On average, our hybrid students take 2 classes per semester, and you have the ability to take 3 semesters per year. So if you continue at that rate, you'll be at 6 classes per year, and you can finish in at 2 to 2.5 year mark. Some of our students that get waived out of some of our foundation classes can finish a little bit quicker than those that have to complete all required classes. And we'll talk about the curriculum in a little bit. Of course, academic integrity, your work is your own. Academic dishonesty is not tolerated. So if professors do suspect that you have plagiarized, you're not being honest, you will be dismissed from the program for those reasons. In my time, I have never personally had to deal with anybody through this academic integrity, but my former director did have to deal with somebody about 5 or 6 years ago. So hopefully we won't have any problems, but I always have to mention it to our new students. Of course, I'm sure that's not new news for any of you. This is our curriculum. It is very similar to what your model roster looks like. So everybody received a model roster at the time of acceptance. Did anybody not receive one? Not review it? I have a copy of them here for you. So anybody on campus, if you want another copy of your roster, I do have them printed for you tonight. But all of our students are required to take these classes, 33 to 45 credits. The difference in the credit requirement is based upon your individual background. We look at your academic background to determine what your degree requirements will be. So if you have a business background and you completed business courses, you will qualify for a waiver from some of our business courses. So the business courses are on the bottom, MBA 610, MBA 615, and MBA 630. They have to be the first classes you complete in the program. So if you have to take any of those foundation courses, those are the classes you'll be registered for in the first 1, 2, or 3 semesters. Then we move up to the core classes. Students have the ability to get waived out of one of these classes based upon your undergraduate major. So if any of you majored in marketing, accounting, finance, or business analytics, you'll get waived from that particular class. And then all other classes are required. In the specialization area, we offer 6 different specialization tracks. You don't have to have that decided today. So we offer accounting, business systems and analytics, finance, management, marketing, and a general business track. Do any of you know what you want to specialize in today? I see a no. Management. Business, okay. All right. So many times what I see is students will complete the application for the program with a particular track and end up changing it. So that happens a lot. General business seems to be our most popular specialization. You have the opportunity to take 3 classes from any of the other 5 specialization tracks and make it unique to you and take classes that you're truly interested in. So if you do the general business track, you could take 1 business analytics class, 1 management class, and 1 finance class. The specialization is not a degree. So everybody's degree is the same. Everybody's diploma will say the same thing. It's a Master's of Business Administration. The specialization is viewed more like a minor in comparison to your undergraduate work. It's only 3 classes. It will show on your transcript. It does not show on your diploma. Of course, it's something to add to your resume. And if you can't decide between 2, do them both. You can take 2 specializations, or you can take 3, although I've never had a student that has done 3. I have had students that have done 2. What that means is you would take 3 additional classes. So to have any specialization, you have to take 3 classes in that particular area of study. In the executive perspective classes, we have 4 courses that focus on leadership and decision making. And then our program concludes with MBA 902, which is our capstone class. This is the last class that you take in the program generally. You can take specialization classes after this class, but all required courses in the program must be completed before you take MBA 902. MBA 902 is our competitive strategy class. It's a course that looks at successful companies in the business world today. You'll have the ability to take the new skills that you've learned in all the other required classes in the program and put them all together. How do they all work together to make a successful company? You'll take a look at the inner workings of certain companies. When I was in the program, it was a couple of years ago, we looked at Apple and we took a look at the inner workings of Apple, the employment structure. We analyzed the financial statements, a lot of fun work. But you learn a lot about that company and you figure out what it is that they do to be as successful as they are. Any questions about the curriculum? Anybody online have any questions?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on.
There we go.
All right, so class logistics. Our hybrid classes meet for the full semester. They run on 16-week semesters. So we begin January 13th next Monday, and they go through early May. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact date that our classes end, but it's in early May. I think it's May 2nd. We offer 3 semesters per year, fall, spring, and summer. In the fall and the spring semesters, our classes begin at 6:15. They go until 8:55 p.m. Don't ask me why, it's 8:55. Years ago when I started in my role, it was 9 o'clock. But then the university said we don't need that extra 5 minutes of class time, so now it's 8:55. The classes end at 8:55. In the summer, classes begin a little bit earlier at 6 p.m. and they go a little bit longer until 9:30 p.m. because we have a condensed 11-week semester every summer. Question? Okay, there you go. That's why, because it's 11 weeks. So we have more weekly class time, less weeks. We also offer intersession classes. So they're offered twice a year in August and January. They're 2-week long semesters. So the August is in between the summer and the fall semester. January is in between fall and spring. And in 2 weeks, you have one entire class out of the way. Students love them or hate them. There's no in between. So I took an intersession class. You have no life outside of work and school. But in 2 weeks, you have an entire class out of the way. We only offer specialization classes in the intersession. Generally, we only offer management and finance in that format. And that's just due to our student demand. So for all of you, it's important to know what class you're taking. Does everybody know what class you're taking, or do you have to look that up?
I'm taking 690 and 693.
Very good. Okay. So the next thing you need to know is when that class meets. So for our hybrid classes, the classes don't meet every week. Generally, it's every other week, but if you look up your class schedule on Brother Lewis, you'll be able to see the specific dates that the class will be meeting. The syllabus will also list those face-to-face dates. So when the semester begins on Monday, you should have access to your syllabus through Canvas. And you'll be able to pull up that syllabus and take a look at the instructions of your professor, the course expectations, and the class meeting dates. You want to make sure in the first week of the semester that you can commit to all those face-to-face meeting dates. Our professors were all graduate students at one time, so they understand the professional obligations that you all have, they understand the personal obligations that you all have, but because we only meet a couple of times in the semester, it's really important that you don't miss those classes. If you know already that you're going to miss 1 or 2 classes, talk to your professor. If you're going to miss 2 classes, there's probably going to be recommended you take a different class. 1 class, the professor might be able to work with you, but I always refer to the professor for that. Some professors have different views. So you need to make sure that you can work with the professor based upon any absences you might suspect that you're going to have. MBA math is required for some students. This is required for students generally that have to take foundation classes. So if you were waived from the foundation classes, you were probably waived from MBA math. If you're not sure if you have to take MBA math, it will be listed on your model roster. So if you have to take MBA math, you should have received instructions on how to log in and register. It is done through a third party. It's not a LaSalle course. It's a third party course. And we provide you with a discount code for a discounted rate of $120. And you can log in. It's a self-paced course. There's 24 lessons that you have to complete. And its purpose is to help you be prepared to do the more challenging and quantitative courses in our program. So you'll have lessons in Excel, spreadsheets, finance, accounting, economics. If you have to take it, it's required to be done by the end of your first semester, so by May 1st. I will not prohibit you from registering from the summer semester if I don't have it by then, because registration starts in March. But if I don't have it by May 1st, a hold will be placed on your account and you won't be eligible to register for the fall semester until that is received. We're looking for a 70% pass rate for all sections in MBA math. So you don't have to have a perfect score, but we're looking for 70% in each of the 24 lessons. The specialization tracks, we talked a little bit about them already. Are there any questions about the class logistics? We have, and it's not listed on here, probably should have that listed, but we offer classes here at main campus as well as our Plymouth Meeting campus, right by the Plymouth Meeting Mall. So you have the opportunity to take classes at either of those locations. The foundation classes are all online. So if you are registered for a foundation class, you're not registered for the wrong program because we do have an online MBA program. But the foundation classes are fully online with the exception of MBA 630 that has an in-person exam. So if you are in 630, you should already be aware of that.
People have been going to, there is a spring break, both the week of March 16th.
Okay, so I'm just going to repeat that for those of you online. There is a break for spring break the week of March 16th.
That whole week.
That whole week. There are no classes that week. Okay. So how many of you have been able to access your LaSalle email, your tuition invoice? Have you been able to take care of all of that? All of our tuition invoices are accessible electronically. You can pay by mail, in person, do a wire transfer, pay by credit card. There is a convenience fee if you pay by credit card, but all of that you can access electronically. If you haven't done this yet, you will receive an email to your LaSalle email account when your tuition invoice is available. So you can log into your LaSalle email and it'll direct you on how to find that tuition invoice. If you have any problems, pick up the phone and call me and I'll walk you through it. There are payment plans available, so if anybody's unable to pay tuition in full right now, this week, you can sign up for a payment plan. The deadline is January 31st. You do have to pay $45 to enroll in the payment plan. You have to put 25% down. So generally, if you're taking one class, it ends up being, 4 equal payments. If you're taking 2 classes, it'll be a little bit more. It's still 4 equal payments. So you put 25% down first. You pay that. I have there January 31st, but that 25% is due when you sign up for the payment plan. So if you were to do that today, you'd have 25% today. And then there's 3 additional payments, and they're due February 9th, March 9th, and April 9th. For any of you lucky students that have received tuition remission or reimbursement from your employer, we have an employer deferred payment plan. The employer deferred payment plan allows you to defer tuition payment for 30 days after the semester ends. So it's a really great benefit. In order to participate, you do need to sign up. You have to complete an application. There's a $60 application fee. You want to make sure that is taken care of because I have had students who have thought that they submitted an application, but they didn't, and then they start incurring late fees, and after the semester starts, it's too late to sign up for that payment plan. So you want to do this week, and you want to make sure you're talking to the bursar's office and make sure that they received your application and you actually are in this payment plan.
Does the payment have to come directly from your employer?
No. Nope. So you have 30 days. Generally, that gives our students enough time to receive their grade at the end of the semester, submit the grade to their employer because most employers have a requirement that you have to have a B or higher. Upon being accepted, getting that reimbursement, then you can pay LaSalle. Some employers like to pay LaSalle directly, but most of the time they do not. And then, of course, if anybody needs to apply for financial aid, you can still do that. But if you do need financial aid, I would recommend picking up the phone and calling our financial aid office tomorrow to make sure you get everything together. You might be able to still get financial aid for the spring semester, but I can't guarantee that. Any financial questions? No questions? Then we'll keep moving. All right. I hope nobody drops their classes, but if you do, I want to make sure you're taken care of financially. And this is a university policy. So if you decide to drop a class outside of this time frame and you call me, there's nothing I can do. And I get those calls often. And I hate to be the bad news, but I'm just the messenger. So anybody that decides that the class is too hard, the timing's not working out, you're traveling too much for work and you can't make a face-to-face meeting dates, there's a number of different reasons that you can't continue with a particular class. you have until the end of the first week to drop that class for a full refund. So you have until Friday the 17th. After the first week, you will get a 60% refund. So that's January 24th. The third week, there's a 40% refund. Fourth week, there's a 20% refund. After February 7th, there's no refund for dropping a class. You do have until March 30th to withdraw from a class. If you withdraw from the class, you don't get any tuition refund, but you don't get a letter grade for the class and you don't have to continue with the coursework. So students that withdraw from the class many times will be in a position where they're not doing well. They don't want to receive an F. It will hurt their GPA, so they withdraw from the class. They still have to pay for the class and they still have to take the class again. There will be a W that will show on your transcript, but it will not affect your GPA at all. Other times students, I've had students that have had a baby, they couldn't continue with class. None of you here are gonna have that problem probably, but it could happen. You might be traveling for work. There's a number of different reasons. So March 30th is a good date to know. Any other people here? I can't see my heading here. Go back. Oh. Okay, so in the hybrid program, there is health insurance that is provided to all of our students. Many of you are working full-time and you don't need health insurance, but this is it's a university-sponsored plan, and I believe legally we have to provide any students that are taking, I think it's illegal, do you know? It's legal, legally. Any students that are registered for 6 or more credits. So if you're only registered for 3 credits, then it's not going to affect you. But next year, if you're taking 6 credits in the fall semester, you might be hit with this. So you do have to waive the health insurance plan if you don't want it. If you see an additional large sum of money on your tuition invoice, it's the health insurance. You should have received emails on how to complete the waiver process for the health insurance. It's a simple process. You have to identify who you are and that you currently have health insurance. I don't know all the questions that they ask, but I believe it's a pretty quick process to waive that. You do have to do that before the start of the semester. I was working with a student a year ago who didn't realize that the health insurance hit her account, and it was halfway through the semester when she realized it. I don't know why she didn't realize it beforehand, but there was nothing that we could do. She had to pay that premium, and it's a pretty large amount. I don't know the amount. I think it's like 2,000 something, 2,100 like maybe, 1850. Yeah. So if you don't need the health insurance, you want to make sure you complete that waiver if you're taking more than 1 class. So I'm going to repeat that for the people online. If you do complete the waiver, make sure you save a copy of the email you receive or the confirmation for that, completing that waiver, because we just want to make sure that you don't get billed if you don't need it.
Just to confirm, if you do an MBA math, they can apply to an MBA math.
It does not, no. MBA math is no credits, so it's not for credit. It's just a pre-foundation class requirement. So there's no credit requirement associated to that and would not affect you. Any other questions? Okay. Student support and resources. We have a lot of support on campus for our students. I like to share some of that information with our students because I noticed that many of our MBA students will come to campus after hours, after work, take class, and then leave. Many of our MBA students don't spend a lot of time on campus outside of the classroom. They have work full time, they have personal obligations, they have families. So many times our students don't know what's available. The first thing is about textbooks. All of you hopefully have searched for textbook requirements, maybe purchased them. Have any of you not gotten textbooks yet? You have textbooks, everybody here? No? Okay, all right. So you can view all of the textbooks online on our bookstore's website. So take a look at that, find out what your textbook requirement is. You can search on the bookstore's website, find out what that is, and then you can buy it someplace else if you want to. Don't tell anybody I said that. We have students that buy them on Amazon. You can buy them anywhere you want if you find a cheaper price. You just want to make sure you get the right edition. If you wait until Monday to get the course syllabus from your instructor, to view what that textbook requirement is, you might not get your textbook in time. Many of our classes, probably all of our classes, have a reading assignment the first week. So you'll want to make sure that you're on top of it and have that textbook. You know, I always have at least one student that will call me the third week of the semester. I'm still waiting on my textbook and I've missed all this work, so we don't want that to happen to you. So try to do that tomorrow if you can. We have a writing support services, the Shiki Writing Center. I like to talk about this because I didn't know about this when I was a student in the program until the end of my program. And when I utilized them, it was great. I was able to do everything remotely. I never actually came to campus to talk to somebody in the writing center, but I was able to email my paper over to the writing center, and I had somebody provide feedback to me. And sometimes it's just nice to have another set of eyes look at your work, provide you feedback, fix some grammatical errors. So it's a great resource for you. Why not take advantage of it? We also have learning support, so if anybody needs additional learning support, let me know and I'll put you in contact with the right people. We have a Canvas site for all of our hybrid MBA students. I made some adjustments to it and I actually am launching it this week. We've had it for about 2 years, but I shut it down in the fall to make some changes. And so it's launching this week. You should have received an email from me today saying that you will receive it, not an invitation. You will be added to the class this week. I'm hoping that happens tomorrow. So when you log into Canvas, you'll see a hybrid MBA program information page. You'll have access to that throughout your entire time in the program, not just the first semester. So I'll show it to you today. There's information, new student orientation information. Then there's registration information, program policies, university policies. My hope is that any questions you might have, you'll be able to go to this Canvas site and get your answers. So you're not scrambling through the website looking for information, calling me every other week, not that I mind. But you know, if you don't want to call me every week for questions, I'm hoping that all the information that you have is on this Canvas site. If you notice we need more, let me know because I want to make it better. Let me know what kind of information we're missing, what you would like to see, and we'll continue to expand and revise and make it more successful. So I am going to take a moment and show this to you. Let's see. All right, so if you have not yet logged into the portal, this is how you do it. You go to lasalle.edu and you click on My LaSalle. And then you're going to log in. Oh, not there. I was automatically logged in because I was already in. Under Tools, you go to Canvas. This is where you will be able to view all of your classes. Has anybody been in Canvas yet? Mike has? Okay. So this is the hybrid. You'll only have hybrid. You won't have the online. But the hybrid program information will look like this. So it gives you some information about the program and then program specific information, contact information, my name, my picture, Eileen's name. I didn't tell her I put her name there. Registration information. This is our spring registration information. This gets updated every semester. So there's a lot of information here for you. So I'm not going to go through it all, but this is what I want you to do in your own time. So over the next couple of days, once you get access to this, like I said, I'm hoping it'll be tomorrow. Once you get access, take some time to go through it. There is an orientation here that I would like everybody to complete. It's down here, online student orientation. This is an orientation that was designed by the university. So it's not program specific. That's what we're doing tonight. But this orientation helps our students with online education. There's not going to be any fines or anything if you don't complete it, but I can't require it, but I think it would be helpful to you. It'll help you learn a little bit about LaSalle if you're new to LaSalle and a little bit about online education. So with our hybrid students, half of your classes are online. So it's important to get some additional skills. Many of our students never took online classes before. Have any of you taken online before in your undergraduate work? Okay, good. So this will help you with bettering your skills in the online format. I'm going to send out an announcement in Canvas about this orientation once everybody has been added. So you'll have more information and a reminder to do that and where to go to find it. All program information will go through Canvas. So I of course respond to emails. If you email me, I'm going to respond to you, but I'm not going to email the entire program through email. Everything goes through Canvas. So when registration opens, I'll send you a reminder, hey, registration's open. Let me know if you have any questions about course offerings. That will be an announcement in Canvas. You have the ability to go into Canvas and set up your notifications. So if you want to get an email to your LaSalle email account every time I post an announcement, you can set it up that way. Or if you want to just get into the habit of checking the Canvas site for program information and announcements that I put out, you can do it that way as well. So additional resources, we have a library on campus, of course, every university does. When I was a student in the program, I needed to utilize the library often, but I didn't like coming to main campus, which is kind of funny because I work here now. But I took all of my classes at Plymouth Meeting, and I never once came to the library. Everything was accessible online, and there's even more available online today than it was 10 years ago when I was in the program. So Ethne Bearden is our reference librarian. She is the one that designed an MBA library guide for us, and I'm going to show that to you here. So this is a really great place to start. The link to this, if you can't find it through the Connolly Library, is on the Canvas site, so you can access it directly. But this was designed to help our MBA students find all the resources that they need without having to go and search for it on their own through the Connolly Library. So this is specifically for our MBA students, which is pretty cool. You'll have access to Standard & Poor's, Edgar, let's see, Wharton Research data sets. There's a lot of information available. I'll just scroll through some of it. There's ebooks, e-references. If you need help finding something that you can't find, you ask the librarian. This is Ethne. You can email her directly. There is a live chat 24/7, so you might not be speaking to a librarian specifically at LaSalle, but they'll be able to help you. So it's a great resource. Definitely take advantage of it. Many of your classes will have research papers, and you'll need to utilize the resources available. So I just wanted to give you a brief introduction there. We also have a career services center here at LaSalle. They are located right here in Founders Hall, and it's right down that hallway for the people here. I know the people online can't see where I'm pointing, but they are here on the first floor. Many of the work that they do is focus on undergraduate, but they do work with some of our graduate students. So if you need assistance with maybe you need to update your resume, maybe you want to do a career change, you're looking for some career opportunities, maybe you want to help some of our undergraduate students. And maybe you have a job opening at your employer and you want to find a LaSalle undergrad student. So there's a number of different reasons that you might want to reach out to the Career Services Center. Dave Prisco is one of our career counselors, and I always put his name here because he's an MBA graduate. So he graduated from the program just this year, I think, in August. Yeah, in August. And so he's available. He's been in your shoes. He understands. But if you need any help career-wise, definitely take advantage of us. I think this is one of the last things I want to cover, are student connections and technology. I showed you how to log into the portal. I showed you how to access Canvas. There's a couple of other things that I want to show you, so I'm going to go back there. All right, this is where you access your email. So if anybody has been unable to locate their LaSalle email, once you log into the portal, it's right there on the top right corner. You want to get into the habit of checking your email on a regular basis. The last thing you want to do is miss an email from your instructor. And I always like to share this with our new students, although I probably shouldn't. When I was a student in the program, it was probably one of my last classes. It was like my second to last semester. I did not check my email that week. And I got to class, and we have having a classroom discussion about something, and I was completely I had no idea what anybody was talking about. Then I realized there was an email that the instructor sent out with a whole bunch of articles that we were supposed to read before class that I completely missed. And so it was very obvious to my fellow classmates and my instructor that I was unprepared for that particular class meeting. And I couldn't participate. You can guarantee that I never made that mistake again, but you want to make sure you get into the habit of checking your email on a regular basis so that doesn't happen to you. You can have your LaSalle email forwarded to a personal email account. I had tried that and it didn't work, something happened, but I understand that it is working these days. So you do have that option. But I think the best thing for you to do is, if you have access to the portal at work, you get to work, check it in the morning, and if you get into the habit of checking it every morning, then you're off to a really great start. Under tools, we've looked at Canvas. The other thing I want to show you is DegreeWorks. I'm not going to click on it because I have access to all the students and I don't want to show any confidential information on student grades. But when you click on DegreeWorks, it's going to show you what your course requirements are and your progression in the program so far. So it should match your model roster here. So you received a model roster at the time of acceptance. In a couple of weeks, the system will get updated. So if you got waived from any particular courses, you won't see those waivers in DegreeWorks yet because it's a process for LaSalle to get all that taken care of. So we submit all those waivers to our registrar's office, and then they have to input all those waivers manually. Hopefully one day we'll have an easier solution to that. So in a couple of weeks, you'll see those waivers reflected on your account in DegreeWorks. DegreeWorks will then show you what classes are in progress, and then once you complete the class, what your grades were for that class. And it'll show you what your remaining courses are. This does not replace academic advising, and it does not replace your model roster. It's just a tool for you to use. It's just a resource. It's a rather new resource for us, so we don't want students relying on it. So definitely utilize your rosters and use me as your advisor to make sure you meet all degree requirements, but you can also take a look at DegreeWorks to just monitor your progression. The other thing I want to show you is the help desk. Of course, there's going to be technical problems, when are there not. The help desk is available. They do have hours throughout the week. I think the hours are down here. There they are. So they're open until 10 p.m. throughout the week. And then they have Saturday and Sunday hours as well. So if you have any technical problems whatsoever, utilize the help desk. Even if you're not on campus, you can pick up the phone and call them. If you don't want to call them, you don't want to talk to them, and you have access to the portal, you can log into Canvas and you can actually put a ticket into the help desk through, you can't do that anymore? Not Canvas.
It's not from
Brother,
Canvas. It's under, no, it's under tools, and then it's under help desk right there.
that's where it was.
So you said, so see, it says submitted IT support, it's actually an email that you're gonna submit.
Oh,
See that big thing?
right there. That's how you do
So
it.
if you click on that, it becomes an email.
So if you click on submit an IT support request, you can, and I don't have my email open, so I don't think it's gonna work.
You just tell me what to do.
And you can let them know what the problem is. Many times students that need to contact the help desk can't log into the portal, so you will have to pick up the phone and call them. If you don't have access to the portal yet, you don't have your credentials, let me know tomorrow so that we can get on top of that. You need to make sure you have access to the portal when classes start on Monday. All of you have access? Great. Does everybody online have access? I hope that's a yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thanks, Mark.
Oh,
All right. I want to take a moment. I want to be mindful of your time. But what are your expectations for the program? What do you hope to get out of the program? How does it fit into your professional development? Or you can let me know what unique skills or background you plan to bring to the program. How are you going to help other students? As I mentioned earlier, our students learn from each other as much as they learn from the professors. So pick one question and answer them. I'm going to pick on Mike.
What was the question?
One of each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your expectations in the program.
I can answer.
Okay, Mark. Is that Mark?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We can all hear you.
So I would say what I want to get out of the program is not only management skills to further develop my ability to manage people and projects, but also critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, and any other quantitative skills that will help me be a better analyst and have better analytical skills.
Very good. I hope that you'll get all of that.
I can answer.
Is that Catherine?
Yep, this is Catherine.
Catherine?
So I'm really hoping, I'm expecting to get out of the programs, really gain some business knowledge. Obviously, I don't have much of a background for it at all, but also to really build a network through this program with all of my classmates.
Very good. All right, I'm gonna pick on my feet then.
I look forward to making more effective management decisions, and I think definitely build some skills here. And all that I'll bring to the program is I work in a very niche portion of pharma where I've helped a lot of companies, large and small, bring new products to the market and help them become more commercialized, to help them with trials. I think there's a lot of skills there that I can share with some people.
Very good, great, thank you. Dan?
Being new to the business world, I'm looking forward to the skill set in finance and bigger
Great.
picture and healthcare.
Okay, Brant?
I think unique skills wise, since I have a human resource background, I can network and kind of help out with, you know, a question about resume and what to put on a resume.
Very good.
And obviously, you know, be able to work in compensation and probably a situation some of the clients don't want to ask interview action about compensation.
But any questions about HR, compensation, go to Brant. We'll have to remember that.
It just became very popular.
Yes, yeah, I think you'll have a lot of students that love that, yes. Great, is there anybody else online that wanted to talk? Okay. All right, so finally, there's a couple of things I want you to keep in mind as you begin your journey in LaSalle's MBA program. First is your computer will probably crash. So make sure you plan for that. Save your work. Make sure that you don't wait until the night before to begin a paper and then you lose it and then you have to start all over. It has happened. We've heard all the excuses. You know, we can't use the excuse the dog ate my homework anymore. So make sure you plan for it and make sure you save all of your work. I have jump drives, so if anybody needs one, let me know. Business and work requirements might interfere with your class and your assignments. It happens. Sometimes there's travel that is sprung on some of our students and there's nothing they can do about it. The best advice I can give you is to communicate with your professor. Be open and honest with your professors because many times they will understand. And they'll be able to work with you. If you don't tell them what's going on, they can't work with you. But if they know what's going on, they'll do their best to work with you. In our program, we're all professionals, so just remember that. Improve your listening skills. So you're expected to contribute to the content of class with all of your knowledge. I mentioned when we began that one of my favorite parts of LaSalle's MBA program was how much I was able to learn from my fellow classmates. So you have the opportunity to teach them, you have the opportunity to learn from them, and it's a great added benefit in our program. Reflect upon the lessons. So one thing that you can do when you leave classes, as you're driving home from class that night, reflect on what you learned. Take some time to really think about the lessons from the class, the content from that week, and figure out what you can do with that information going forward. Can you apply it into your day-to-day work? There was one class in particular that I was able to do that often. It was MBA 810, our leadership skills class. I was able to take information every week that I was doing in that course and apply it to my work. At that time, I was working at Lincoln Financial Advisors. Through that implementation, I began improving my best skills, helping my teammates also improve their best skills, and began presenting on a nationwide basis at Lincoln Financial to help coworkers across the United States. So it's a great resource to be able to take some of the skills in the classroom and apply it to your job and help other people in the workplace. And finally, we know that the MBA is a huge investment. There's tuition, the opportunity cost, personal and career energy. So handle it as such. You want to make sure you take it seriously. We don't want you to register for class and then not show up for class and not do your work. We want you to want to be here. So if there's any reason, anything that's stopping you, if there's something happening at home, something happening at work, you need to just communicate with us. Let us know what's going on so that we can help you the best that we can and make sure that you are successful. At the end of the day, we want all of our MBA students to graduate. We want them to have a diploma. We want them to be successful, and we want to be able to help you do that. So you need to let us help you. That's generally everything I like to cover. I want to take a few moments to see if there are any additional questions. I feel like I just talked a lot, so if you leave today and you have questions that pop into your mind on your drive home, send me an email or give me a call tomorrow, and I'd be happy to answer any questions at that time. But are there any questions right now? Anybody online?
Nicole, this is Mark. I have one question.
Sure.
Regarding the MBA math course, if there's a particular area where a student is struggling, would the LaSalle tutorial program be able to provide someone that is a tutor or a mentor to help with that part of the MBA math course, or is that not? Go ahead.
Yeah, we don't have support or resources to help with the MBA math. However, our goal is that the MBA math should provide those resources. So in each lesson, there are videos and exercises for you to get the information you need to be successful on the quiz at the end of each lesson. Students have the ability to do that as many times as they need, spend as much time as they want. So our hope is that the students are getting everything that they need through those lessons and through those videos and exercises to be able to successfully pass that quiz at the end of the lesson.
Okay, great.
Were there more questions, Mark?
No,
Okay.
thank you for covering that.
No problem.
I have a quick question building off of that.
Sure.
With the MBA math, do we have access to it at all times once we complete it? So if we need to go back on something, it's still there?
That's a really good question. And believe it or not, we've been utilizing MBA math for probably 3 years now, and I've never had that question. So I don't know the answer to that. I know you have the ability to go back for some time, but I don't know how long that lasts. So I will get the answer for you and let you know.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
So it's a whole year on the program.
A year. Okay, so when you sign up, I am remembering now that you said that. So when you sign up and register for the MBA math, it's a year subscription.
Okay.
Is the right word for it.
Sounds
So
good.
you have access to it for a year.
All right.
Yeah.
If you were away from it, is there any way that you can use this resource? I'm just waiting for my transcript, but I was like,
Yeah, it costs $120. I can provide you that discount code. Absolutely. Yep. Remind me. Send me an email tomorrow. Remind me, and I'll send that over to you. Yes.
If they forget to send to you your email, the email to MBA, video, you'll get to wait.
Yep. So I'll just repeat that. Once you're done with MBA math, you need to have the MBA math transcript sent to us. So you can have it sent directly to me, or you can have it sent to mba@lasalle.edu, and that goes to Eileen, and then she'll be able to get it to me. So once we any questions. So if you can't get a hold of me, email mba@lasalle.edu or call Eileen. But the MBA math transcript needs to be submitted. And once we receive that, we will send you an updated roster and an email confirmation that you have successfully passed MBA math. And then we notate that on your model roster. It's a pass or fail course, so you don't earn any letter grade. There's no credits earned. It doesn't affect your GPA. It's only to help you be more successful in our quantitative courses. Any other questions? Dan.
This might be a personal question about finances, but with the voucher that I was provided by my employer, do I still need to file the deferred payment from that?
That's a good question. Let's talk about that after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else? All right, so if there's nothing else, these are your next steps. You need to make sure you pay your tuition or sign up for a payment plan. I don't want to see any late fees hit any of your accounts. You need to purchase your textbooks. You need to get your student ID. You need to familiarize yourself with the My LaSalle portal and the Hybrid MBA Canvas site. And then there's that online orientation. And I'm going to email you more information about that online orientation. Like I said, it's not required. I probably shouldn't say that because now nobody's going to do it, right? But it'll be helpful to you. It'll give you more information about LaSalle University and online education. So it's helpful. Okay, well, if there are no more questions, then everybody's free to go. I feel like this was a really quick night tonight. For those of you here on campus, please don't leave without eating more food, because I'm gonna get stuck with it all and then I'll eat it. So help yourself to more food. Those of you online, thank you for joining us. And if you have any other questions, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You actually wrote the book, so you kind of go with that.
Yeah, a little coffee shop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Hold on, that's somebody else's.
That's on like an Outlook.
Or-
That's not
That's not yours. Yeah, no problem. Dan.
Yes,
All
so
right.
you're under an exchange.
And
Yep.
So that's really great.
So, yeah, because I have.
Brent, I didn't print
I have
yours.
And I have, my personal.
I got it in the mail.
Okay.
So
I don't know why. I printed everybody's.
So
That's online.
Originally was gonna be online.
That's great.
Oh, well, maybe you're in my online file
Oh,
then.
it's on my phone for-
You always have your phone, right?
Yeah, so it's always great to do.
But you received the updated hybrid roster, right? They are different. Okay. I'm gonna make a note.
I can email it to him tomorrow.
I want to make sure that you applied for online. Did you apply for online?
You applied to both.
So let's make sure that you got the right one.
That's okay, we accept all kinds, I get all applications, so it doesn't matter. And Nicole gets both of those programs, so
Yes.
it's all
Okay.
good.
The other thing I didn't mention, especially for you guys, if you're taking classes at Powder Hall, you want to make sure you get your student ID. Because as Brant realized, that door remains locked and your ID will open that door. Otherwise you have to,
Parking gate.
and it opens the parking gate. Otherwise you have to park across the street at Shops at LaSalle, it's free parking. So if you don't get a parking, we didn't talk about this either, if you don't get a parking permit to park on campus, you can park across the street. There's free parking across the street and our public safety office is right there. So it's safe. Yeah, you just have to walk across the street. If you want to pay for a parking permit, it is, I think it's $65 for the semester. Do you know offhand if I'm right?
$200 for the year.
For the year, and I think you can do it 65 for the semester. And then you can park in the parking lot right over here where you parked tonight.
You just swipe your card.
Yes, yep, once you have the parking permit. It won't work until
The
you
part,
get a parking
you
permit.
swipe your card right outside, you'll see a gate. And when you swipe your card, swipe up, strip up. For some reason, the strip is always up or to the right.
So the first entrance is for faculty. It probably won't open that one, but the next
Yep.
one.
The J
That's not
still on.
correct anymore,
It's not.
they changed the rules.
Oh,
Anybody,
Missed that.
that's why you can't park all the time in JAG when you're late. Any of the parking lots are open anyway.
Parked in
Okay.
J today.
okay.
Right, so you're fine,
I'm good, all right.
you're fine. If you got, sometimes those gates are open, take management to pull it. But, there's no faculty parking except on main
I didn't realize
campus, which
that.
you guys
Okay.
will be there.
Okay, so where did they send the ID from the part-time hybrid program?
You can pick it up in the office or have them mail it to you at home.
Oh,
Yeah.
So let me show you where you do it.
It will
It's
only
very
ask
easy.
your Address of record.
okay.
I picked mine up at a council.
The basement of the building with the big L on it. So if you're
Nobody
coming
asked any
online
questions
next
today.
week
No, they
to get
didn't.
your books at the bookstore, just walk across the quad and
But it seems like everyone was pretty comfortable just to speak.
Okay.